Welcome back to the deep dive. We are continuing our journey through the Manual of Patent Examining Procedure, the MPEP.
That's right. And today we're in Chapter 2300, which covers interference and derivation proceedings.
This is where things get contentious, right? It's all about figuring out who really invented something first.
Exactly. It's the legal battlefield for priority. But today we're looking at a very specific corner of that battlefield, MPP Section 2306, Secrecy Order Cases.
And this is where patent law collides directly with national security.
It really does.
So our mission today is to figure out what happens in that collision. How does the USPTO handle a priority dispute when one of the inventions is classified?
Okay, let's unpack this. So, you have an invention, it's brilliant, but it's also got defense applications, the government puts a secrecy order on it. What happens, immediately? The immediate consequence is a full stop. I mean, a complete procedural halt.
A halt on everything.
On the priority dispute, yes. A secrecy order's entire purpose is to prevent disclosure. So the USPTO, under its own rules, simply will not declare an interference involving an application under that kind of order.
So the national security concern justly trumps the entire legal process of figuring out who was first.
It has to. Think about it. An interference proceeding is adversarial. It's designed for the two parties to see each other's files, to argue points.
Full transparency.
Right, and you can't have transparency with classified information. So national security confidentiality takes absolute precedence. The priority dispute has to wait.
What about the inventor? I mean, are they just stuck? Can they at least, raise their hand and say, hey, I think there's an interference here?
Well, they can suggest it. An applicant is allowed to suggest an interference.
Yeah.
But it's a symbolic act at that point.
The office just ignores it.
They're legally required to. They'll note it, but they will not act on that request as long as the secrecy order is in effect. The risk of spilling classified information is just too high.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And that gets us to the core of the danger here. So here's where it gets really interesting for me. Why is it so dangerous? I mean, why can't they have some kind of, sealed proceeding or special rules?
It's because the very structure of the proceeding is built on open access. The rules are clear. Once an interference is declared, the other party gets mandatory access to the application and all its related files.
Mandatory.
Mandatory. It's not optional. It's fundamental to the process so each side can build their case.
So the moment you declare an interference, the clock starts, and the other inventor, who probably has zero security clearance, gets a legal right to see state secrets.
You've got it exactly. The system's transparency, which normally ensures fairness, becomes a massive security vulnerability.
Wow.
So initiating the interference while the order is active is a non-starter. It's just impossible from a security standpoint. The whole system is designed to prevent that exact scenario.
It sounds like the inventor is put in this indefinite holding pattern. I mean, these orders could last for years, decades even.
They can. And that's the real challenge for the person who invented the technology. The law isn't totally blind to this, though.
Okay, so there's some kind of compensation?
There is. It's called patent term adjustment, or PTA. The time the application was held under the secrecy order can be added back to the life of the patent once it eventually issues.
For our listeners who aren't practitioners, can you break down what PTA is really quickly?
Sure. It's basically a way to extend the 20-year life of a patent. If the patent office causes excessive delays during examination, they add that lost time back to the end of your patent term. A secrecy order is considered one of those delays.
But let's be realistic here. If your tech is kept secret for 20 years and then you finally get a patent with a 5-year extension, you've lost the entire market.
And that is the central problem, isn't it? PTA is a legal remedy, a time remedy. It's not a commercial remedy.
Right.
You can't build a business on a product nobody is allowed to know exists. By the time it's declassified, it might be completely obsolete. So an extended patent on obsolete tech is, it's worthless.
So the inventor's legal right is preserved, but their commercial opportunity might be gone forever.
That's the crucial distinction. The USPTO preserves the procedural right, but the market realities are what they are.
So when can the process actually move forward? When can they finally address the priority issue?
Only when the root conflict is gone. The office will only reconsider an interference after the secrecy order is officially rescinded or expires, and even then, only if the application is, otherwise ready for it.
Okay, let's get into the trickiest scenario, the real balancing act. What if you have one application that's secret and one that's not, but they both claim the same invention?
Yes. The restricted versus the unrestricted application. This is where the USPTO has to juggle two very different public interests.
National security on one hand and public disclosure on the other.
Exactly. And the guidance here is pretty clear. They prioritize the unrestricted application. It gets to move forward.
So the non-classified invention can become a patent right away, even if the person with the secret application might have invented it first.
Yes, that's exactly what happens. If the unrestricted application is allowable, it proceeds to issue as a patent. The secret one has to wait.
I think the example from the manual makes this really clear. Let's walk through that.
It's a great example. So imagine you have application L. It claims a new kind of transistor for, say, commercial electronics. Totally unrestricted.
Okay.
Then you have application M. It claims the exact same transistor, but its use is described in a missile guidance system.
Ah, so application M gets slapped with the secrecy order immediately.
Instantly. So now you have two inventors, same core tech, but one is open and one is classified. The question is, who gets the patent?
And based on what you said, application L, the commercial one, gets it.
That's right. The USPTO allows application L to issue as a patent. This serves the public interest of getting new, non-sensitive technology out into the world. Application M just has to sit there, sealed.
But wait a minute, what if inventor M can prove they invented it years before inventor L? Doesn't letting patent L issue just steamroll as M's rights?
It feels like it, but legally, M's rights are deferred, not destroyed.
Deferred.
Yes. Inventor M can only suggest an interference after their secrecy order is lifted. And here's the kicker. They can only do it if patent L hasn't expired yet.
So inventor M comes out of the shadows 20 years later. The tech might be old news. Patent L has dominated the market. And now M has to start an expensive legal fight against an issued patent.
It's a massive uphill battle, and it shows you the balancing act in action. The USPTO protects the classified data. It allows the public to benefit from the non-classified invention.
And it preserves inventor M's legal right to fight for priority later, even if that right has lost most of its practical value.
Precisely. It's a fascinating look at how patent law isn't just about business. Sometimes it's about state security, and that forces a whole different set of rules.
So when you boil it all down, what does MPPT Section 2306 really show us? It's a clear mechanism for hitting the pause button on patent disputes when national security is on the line.
It is. It protects confidentiality without completely erasing an inventor's rights. It just freezes them, sometimes for a very, very long time.
A system designed for long-term legal fairness, maybe, but one that creates a huge commercial risk for the inventor with the secret.
It's a unique part of the law, no question.
The final thought MPP 2306 leaves us with is this. If your invention is kept secret for decades, and you finally get to fight for priority against a patent that's already defined the market, how much have you really gained versus what you've lost in that delay? Something for you to mull over.
And before we sign off, there are a couple of very important acknowledgments we need to make.
Absolutely. A special thank you to Mike Shepard, the creative director behind this entire series. His vision and leadership are what make this exploration of the MPEP possible.
And of course, our mandatory disclaimer. We need to remind you that this discussion of the MPEP was generated using AI tools, including ChatGPT and NotebookLM. It's for educational and informational purposes only.
That's right. This is not legal advice, and it's no substitute for formal instruction. For authoritative guidance, please consult the official MPEP, a qualified instructor, or a registered patent practitioner.